Tina Pule, outlining her plans for this department in the 2012-2013 financial year. We also had contributions from the Deputy Minister and the Chairperson of the Communications Portfolio Committee. But let's now hear what others had to say during that debate. The DA spokesperson for communications, Ms. Marianne Shin, accused government of having no clue of the role of communication is playing in economic growth, job creation and the delivery of services.
If it did, the President would have given it weight in his State of the Nation address and ensured it was a key player in the infrastructure development plan. It was barely mentioned. In the budget, the Department of Communications has been given 290 million rand less than last year. This at a time when we need to pour at least 90 billion rand into installing a broadband communications backbone that reaches, at the very least, into every region and urban hub and village in the country. We have to understand that without widespread, high-speed, accessible communications infrastructure, we cannot educate, we cannot produce, we cannot trade, we cannot govern, we cannot deliver services. Communications technology is not a luxury or an afterthought. It is a utility, like water, electricity and roads. South Africa's communication industry is in desperate need of transformation. It needs to break loose from the stranglehold of a fixed-line monopoly and mobile network duopoly and the lethargic regulatory process. These forces have warped the communications landscape to their own advantage. Bold, swift action is necessary to make...
Mrs. Shin said South Africa needed fast, accessible and affordable communications infrastructure in order to grow. She said the minister was new in her job and the third minister of communication in as many years. But she needed to take note of the anger and cynicism among ICT market players towards her department's inability to shake the sector free of vested interest. She said the SABC was another headache the department had to take care of.
This is a high-profile distraction because of the endemic corruption that festered for years through the ranks of the corporation and the board. That the new management is determined to turn this behemoth around, I have no doubt. Its radical surgery and disruption of comfort zones means this will be a bumpy ride. I wish them well. But SAB's ambitions need to be cut according to its cloth. Treasury has not allowed the SABC all the money it needs to complete its envisaged transformation to digital terrestrial television. So it must sideline its ambitions to launch 12 new TV channels because the resources are not available. It must focus on getting right its existing commercial channels so it can regain lost viewers and attract advertising. These commercial channels must then be sold to help pay off its debts and enable the SABC to focus on its public broadcast mandate that will mainly be funded by license fees. Privatizing these commercial channels will also help support the diversification of media ownership.
The importance of ICT development was emphasized by a range of political parties. We pick up on the address of COPE's Julie Killian, who said the exponential growth in ICT and the impact thereof globally had in the past 15 years created an information revolution. In this respect, the red lights were flickering for South Africa.
Our country has unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, lost its competitive edge on the African continent as well as amongst middle-income countries globally. Whereas mobile penetration, the Minister has already referred to that, in South Africa is estimated to be at more than 100%, we still face serious challenges with regards to universal access and the cost of mobile equipment. This leaves communities in underserviced and rural areas still socially and economically marginalized. One of the most critical areas that require immediate and focused attention, and some of my colleagues have already referred to it, is affordable broadband connectivity. In this regard, it is a matter of concern that the department has not been able to finalize the National Broadband Implementation Plan, which has, amongst others, made it impossible for Centec to roll out the national broadband network.
Many government departments have sizable budgets for communication, but tend to pour these into expensive and often uninspired newspaper advertisements and supplements that reach an elite few. It is also debatable whether verbatim extracts from ministerial speeches any real impact. Good governance requires good communication from all spheres of government. Many relatively privileged citizens suffer when trying to reach the right bureaucrat to solve their problem, particularly at municipal level. The problem is compounded for the poor who do not have the resources to spend long periods on the telephone when trying to remedy an electricity or water problem.
We are aware, Chairperson, of the ongoing saga regarding editorial powers and content at the SABC. We hope it will be concluded with no blood on the floor, yet to the satisfaction of the public. Editorial policy has to be improved and consistent, unlike at present, where there are clearly favored political parties whose events are covered 100%, while events or speakers of other parties are not being covered or beamed. The majoritarian principle applied by the SABC is scary and reminds the public of the SRE days in this country. In this country, there is no policy of winner takes all. We have to share the same time and the same air and the screen.
After the